Greetings. I'm Reverend Bob Zanicki, the pastor of the First Presbyterian Church in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Today is Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020, and welcome to the Midweek Meditation. Well, here we are in the fourth week of Advent, the time of expectation, the time of waiting for the arrival of the birth of Jesus Christ, the Christ child, in our lives, into our lives, as a remembrance that we do every year. And it's so key, it's really so vital, it seems to me, as Christians, that we do this. It was very intelligent, very thoughtful over the centuries for the earlier Christians to have this evolve into a particular time of preparation as a reminder of the birth of Jesus and what the Christ means to us in our lives, in the life of the world. So much of what has been good that has transpired over these last 2,000 years is directly attributable to the life of Jesus Christ. You may not always hear that. In fact, you probably seldom hear that in many areas of the world and many places, but it's the case that the more and more one studies history and has a better understanding of what Jesus Christ meant, his life, his death, his resurrection, the way of living one's life through Jesus Christ has made a significant difference in the world that we live in and have lived in. Now, that doesn't mean Christians have lived the way they should live. We still understand ourselves to be fractured, broken human beings, created in the image of God, but yet also not living up to the standard of what this monotheistic religion, as understood now for us as Christians through Jesus Christ, expects of us. And so we continuously need to look within ourselves, also within our society, in terms of making changes that will be to the improvement of the lives of not only ourselves, our families, our communities, but those beyond our own areas of the world. So here we are again. We're very close, only a couple days, and there will be Christmas Day, the birth of Jesus. You may have noticed here this is the fourth Sunday of Advent, that on my desk here in the manse I've placed multiple creche scenes, those scenes of the manger, of the birth of Jesus. We have some camels here, we have some shepherds up there, we have some wise men, of course we have Mary and Joseph, we have some little lambs right up here can you see the little lambs? There we go. I think these are precious moments. And so in any event, I've just, I love Christmas, but just on this past Sunday, on the fourth Sunday of Advent, after the church service, I was visiting with a few folks. Not many people stick around because of this virus issue. And of course, we still maintain distance and all, and we have our masks on. But one of our delightful members, Stephanie, handed me something, and she mentioned something about the midweek meditation. And this is what she handed me. I'm going to get closer here to the video. She handed me this little creche. Huh? You see that? Isn't that beautiful? So now I have another one to add to my collection. So thank you, Stephanie. It's great. It's great. So I'll just place it right up here. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. So again, I'm excited about Christmas. This time of just hopefully to bring joy. And again, over the years I've talked about how it also can stir up emotions about the people that we've loved and we've lost, but to go in another direction in the sense of what God, through Christ, has offered to us in our life now and in the life to come. That's the part that I'm joyous about and that I'm focused on, understanding that there are those hurts and pains, but God, through Christ, takes us through those also. Not always easy by no stretch, but it's there. It's a way of life. So, my friends, this past Sunday we had a wonderful service, and it's live streamed and it's recorded on. It's on YouTube. It's available there. I strongly suggest that if you haven't experienced it yet, to go to experience the fourth Sunday of Advent service at First Presbyterian Church in Wilkes-Barre. The anthems were just beautiful. They were uplifting. Of course, they are, okay? But these, well, just, you'll know what I mean. Treat yourself and listen. And included, we had a surprise. We, in the congregation, we had, all of a sudden at one point within an anthem, we had this angelic voice showing up that we weren't expecting. And that's a treat also. And also we had this delightful young little dancer with one of the anthems that was just so cute and just a delight. So we journeyed to Bethlehem. I shared from the Luke chapter 2 of the birth of Jesus, that the Fry family that lit the Advent candles, and they read that Luke passage so beautifully. And so we talked about the birth of Jesus. So go to Facebook, our Facebook, it's there, or go to YouTube and experience it, the worship service. And again, we have the 4 Advent candles lit here, and just close, so close. Okay? So let me read again these 7 verses from Luke's Gospel, the birth of Jesus. As I've mentioned before, keep in mind the 4 Gospels, almost kept that thumb on, 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, okay? And only 2 of them have the birth narrative, Matthew and Luke. Mark begins with Jesus as an adult being baptized by John the Baptist. The Gospel of John goes way, way back to in the beginning was the Word. So that goes way back, okay? So there we are. Luke's one of the 2. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered, taxed. This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee, that's up north, to Judea, which is down south, to the city of David called Bethlehem. And the Hebrew translation of that is house of bread. And again, keep in mind, for us as Christians, we think of Jesus as the bread of life. And there's all these intimate connections, intricacies of connection between the Jewish tradition of Judaism and Christianity. We are just intimately, spiritually related. So to Bethlehem, called because he was descended from the house and family of David. Now, so here we go. Joseph was of the house of David. Now, house of David refers to King David, the great king of Israel, considered the greatest king of Israel. And so what's happening here is that lineage is showing that Jesus is related to the kingship, the divine kingship of the Jewish people in terms of God's leading from one generation to the next, okay? So he went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger, a feeding trough, an animal feeding trough, because there was no place for them in the inn. Such a familiar story. So familiar. Many of us probably, maybe you don't have it exactly memorized, but as you're hearing it, you're going ahead, you know what's coming up next. Okay? So it's interesting too, this idea of lineage. It was very important to show that Jesus, his connection with Judaism, with the history of the people of Israel, all the way back to the beginning with Abraham. In fact, in Matthew's gospel, with the other birth narrative, the early part of Matthew's gospel has the genealogy of Jesus. And in Matthew, which is more primarily even stronger with a Jewish flavor tinge to it because of the audience that it was originally written to, who were mainly Jewish, okay, at that point. That genealogy traces Jesus' ancestry back to Abraham. Remember the call of Abraham, the beginning of the Hebrews, the Jewish nation. Okay, so that's Matthew. When we get to Luke, though, Luke is a little more universal in scope because probably, well, it was written some years later beyond Matthew in a different community where there were more pagans, Gentiles that were more and more involved and coming into the developing church. And Luke's genealogy takes us back, all the way back, beyond Abraham for Jesus to Adam. It says Adam, son of God. So there's that universal scope that's intertwined here in terms of it's not just for the Jewish folks, okay, but it's also for the world to understand Jesus as the Christ, the Messiah. So we have that. So, my friends, two evenings, 2 nights, we will be in church celebrating Christmas Eve at 7 o'clock. We'll have the candles. Everybody will be given a candle. We're doing things a little differently because of the coronavirus, but we'll have beautiful music. John he always does it himself, but he has everything planned beautifully for the music. We have several different readers to help us in terms of the lessons and carols. We have some beautiful singers coming in, and so it's just going to be lovely. The church has been decorated with the trees and the lights and the flowers. It'll be so spiritually uplifting just in terms of the ambiance itself. And for those of you that are healthy and you want to attend, I hope to see you there. But anybody that's maybe a little bit older, I'm not going to say what age, or just maybe not feeling quite as well as you have, or not sure, why don't you maybe just turn on the live streaming, and you will be able to experience this beautiful candlelight service. So my friends, a couple days away, may God bless you during Advent, continue to bless you. May the Christmas day be a blessing to you and your families. And also I wanted to ask of you, a lot of people are staying home, which is right, which is correct, okay, because of the coronavirus. So why not think of 3 or 4 families or individuals, neighbors, that they would be blessed in going online and experiencing the live streaming of our worship service. So why not think about a few of them and email them the link to our service for Christmas Eve? I hope you'll do that. Just email them and say, I was thinking about you, and you're probably going to be home, and I thought you and your family, or you as an individual, would enjoy and be uplifted by this service of music, lessons, and carols. And then say Merry Christmas, okay? Happy New Year. And they can choose whether they wish to do so or not. But boy, if many of us would just do that. Pick out 3, 4, 5 different people, families, and send that out to them. If you do it, I'd love to hear that. Love to hear that you've taken that step to invite somebody in this very easy way to experience this service. Well, again, God bless you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and look forward to seeing you in the next year very soon, but I'll see you maybe Christmas Eve. Okay? God bless. Bye-bye.